Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the all-new Maserati Quattroporte. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Maserati of downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Quattroporte. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for John. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3-liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 17 around town, and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 424 horsepower and then 428 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood itself, you guys can see how it's like indented there in the center that goes down to the Maserati Trident, but it's raised on the other side, which I think looks really cool. And then we've got the signature Maserati headlights here with the daytime running lights. Notice the venting here at the bottom with some parking sensors integrated into the front end. Of course, you got the Maserati Trident there, and I love the vertical slats in the grille. And putting it all together, I think the Quattroporte looks pretty cool. So coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 245/40/20 in the front, and then 285/35/20 in the rear. And then if you guys take a closer look at the wheels themselves, you can see all blacked out, and the brake caliper is also blacked out to match. And speaking of blacked out, we got this Modena badge also blacked out, and then you guys can see the signature Maserati vents here on the side. And then notice all the trim on the side is also blacked out, like the window trim, mirror caps, all that. And then here is your full side view of the Quattroporte, and this is where you can see that it's a pretty long car. So here's a key fob for the Quattroporte. We've got our unlock function or lock function, remote start, the opening for the trunk, and then the Maserati Trident there on the back. And we'll press this a couple times and bada bing, bada boom. Now this is one of the big benefits of the Quattroporte, and that is the cargo area. I mean, this is a big sedan and it's got a big cargo area, which, yeah, that's what you expect. And then underneath here, you guys can see even more usable storage. And then when you're all done, just press that button and that will lower the trunk right back down. Pretty simplistic design here at the top, and you guys can see all the badges here on the back, and look at the taillights as well. Those are cool. Parking sensors down below, and then look at like the exhaust tips and everything here at the bottom. Pretty aggressive. And putting it all together, I think this is a pretty good looking full-sized sedan. Now taking a look at the door panel here in the rear, beautiful leather trim, and then notice we've got a sunshade, which is funny because we have frameless windows. Anyways, you guys can see more leather trim down below, and look at the design on that, and then you can see with the stitching and everything here. Got our window control, and then look at this chrome trim that goes across. A couple speakers here for the Bowers & Wilkins sound system on top of that, and it looks like we have a little Maserati ashtray. That's interesting. And then look at the Maserati Trident there at the headrest. Then you guys can see perforated all down the center portion of the seat. Legroom here in the back is solid. Got a little cargo net here. And then you guys can see the vents here in the rear. And then we've got the controls for sunshades, heated seats for the rear. And then you've got a little bit of storage. And then headroom's also good back here. And look at this. We got this like center console with some charging ports. And then of course cup holders. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again with the stitching here, and then look at this silver trim that goes across. More speakers for the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. All of our window controls, the mirrors do power fold in, and then the door has the same design as the rear with the stitching and everything. And then the mirrors themselves have blind spot monitoring. And then you guys can see again with the Maserati Trident there, and then look at the stitching design in the center portion of the seat. And then we've got our power adjustments here on the side, and then very nice looking pedals. Also, we got our light control right here, and then you got your engine stop start button. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, pretty interesting design with like the perforated leather here on the side, and then notice it's like smooth here at the top and then also inside. We've got some controls for the center stack. We've got our adaptive cruise control with our lane keep assist, and then you guys can see column mounted paddle shifters here on the back as well in normal Maserati fashion. Now, we've got this mostly analog gauge cluster, but we do have a screen there in the center, which we can use to scroll through different bits of info on the vehicle itself. We can also see the drive modes here in the center. It gives us a little diagram of the car depending on which drive mode we go in. In reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and we've got this cool 360 system. So overall, great camera system, good resolution too. Now, as for the rest, the infotainment screen, first off, response time with the little shortcut bar, pretty solid. And the fact that it has a shortcut bar, I think, is also neat. You guys probably saw the dual zone climate controls there. Anyways, notice we can do the sunshade here. We can go to the 360 camera system. And then this does come with heated and ventilated seats. And then you guys can see we've got our dual zone climate controls just down below the infotainment system. And below that, we have kind of like the secret tab, which is like our charging tab with the wireless phone charging pad and all of that. We've got our Maserati shifter with the Trident logo right there, a couple of cup holders right here. And then notice we got our stability control, auto stop start, your drive mode select with your suspension select, and then radio controls right here. It's got like a double stack, which is pretty cool, parking brake. And then we have our random little storage cubby and center console, which decent storage side of that. And you guys can see really nice leather trim here on the top. And speaking of nice leather trim, sorry about the lighting in the shot, but you can see the dash completely covered. And then look at like the clock here, and then you can see like the trim that goes across in the dash. Actually, let's zoom out here. Maybe we'll be able to see a little bit better. There you go. Look at that. There you go. Really cool with the appearance on that. And then opening up the glove box, solid storage space, and there's like leather trim like everywhere. It's all covered, even at the bottom. Now up top, we got our controls here for the sunroof, and yes, we do have a regular sunroof, as well as a nice like premium headliner, as you can see. Now here's our window sticker for this Quattroporte. You guys can see the base MSRP $124,400. And it says a few options added to it. Total MSRP on this one, $141,895. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let us set off in the Quattroporte here. I've finally gotten used to this ramp, so I can kind of pull off without having to worry so much. It's a tight fit, but setting off in the Quattroporte, this is a weird car, I'll be honest. Because here's the deal, is Maserati is kind of known as like a beautiful, styling, sporty luxury brand. And this is obviously kind of like an S-Class competitor. And so it's like, what's the best way to describe this? It's kind of as if like, this is gonna sound bad, but hopefully this makes sense. It's kind of like if Kia went and tried to make like a Jeep Wrangler competitor. It's like Kia is known for like a certain thing, and then the Wrangler is completely different than what Kia is known for. And so it's kind of like Maserati's known for like crazy Ferrari-derived engines and, you know, luxury with a just crazy sporty side. They're not known for like the S-Class luxury, if that makes sense. And so it's interesting that they make a car to compete against the S-Class. But you can tell that this car has been more tuned towards the performance side for a full-size sedan. This guy's just looking. Everyone's like, it's so funny to see people's reaction to me because I have a GoPro on my head, and so they're like, why is this person have a GoPro on their head? Who are they talking to? What's happening? Why are they driving a Maserati? So many questions, no answers. But first off, gotta adjust this a little bit. Yeah, suspension's actually really good. I'm gonna pop into the sport suspension setting, see how that feels. Get a little bit more harshness in the sport compared to the normal. But yeah, overall, I'd say that it drives pretty well. But you can tell it's definitely tuned more towards the sporty side compared to the S-Class. The S-Class, like, that's like full-on luxury car floating down the road. This is more tuned, like I said, on the sporty side. You can tell with the handling on it. Yeah, it's definitely on that side. But let's pop into the sport mode here. It's a little bit more aggressive. I love these paddle shifters so much, by the way. They just have like a really nice feel to it. We'll actually pop into the manual mode too while we're at it. Steering wheel feels really good. I will say though, the interior on this definitely lends to the, you know, luxury car appearance. That is for sure. So we are in manual mode, sport mode. So torquey. This engine's great. Now in the Quattroporte, the engine definitely doesn't feel like insanely, like it's quick, but it's not insanely strong like how it feels in the Ghibli. I just drove a Ghibli today as well. But I mean, it's still, I mean, this powertrain is still more than enough. And it sounds so good. Paddle shifters are super responsive. And again, this is what you're not gonna get in an S-Class. You're not gonna get this like fun driving. The S-Class is gonna be all business, right? That's the big difference between something like the Quattroporte and the S-Class. So yeah, setting things up. I think this thing looks good, but it really, like, one thing to mention is it just looks like a stretched out Ghibli, pretty much. And then the interior is actually really nice on this. That's something that, you know, people used to say with Maseratis, is they'd be like, oh, it looks cool, but the interior is not that great. And it's like, nowadays, the interiors look very high-end. Like, really nice material use. And just, again, general, it's kind of like high-quality feel to it overall. Okay, we'll get one last acceleration here. So quick, so quick. So yeah, setting things up here with the Quattroporte, fully. I know I already said setting things up earlier. I like it a lot. I don't know if I'd view this quite as an S-Class competitor. I feel like it's more like, if you just wanted a lot of space but still wanted a fun driving experience, I feel like that's kind of what this gives you, rather than the, like, it's luxurious, but it's different than the S-Class. But let me know what you guys think.